So, I just watched season 6 of Cobra Kai. All 5 episodes of it. And I gotta say, my boy Stingray was right this whole time. This teaming up shit is not finna work. Johnny Lawrence needs to stop playing around with this prima donna and take back Cobra Kai. I know it might seem like a bad idea because over the series, its reputation has been tarnished by the likes of a Kreese and a Silver. But I feel like considering their current situation, Johnny Lawrence returning to Cobra Kai would be a great move for multiple reasons. Starting this off with the main reason, the biggest elephant in the room, Daniel Larusso. Now, we're definitely familiar about the lifelong rivalry between Johnny and Daniel, Miyagi and Cobra Kai throughout the movies and the TV show. But what makes the TV show great is that both of the characters are given a chance to learn from their mistakes, develop as people, so they can eventually set aside their differences and accept each other, combining their dojos, giving them both philosophies of their teachings so they can have the best of both worlds. Wait, did I say both of the characters do this? I meant to say one of them actually does this, while the other one is just all talk. Daniel Larusso is still a bully. He has not changed much from the beginning of this series, let alone the movies. The only difference I see is that he has gotten smarter at covering his nefarious ways up. I know it may seem that he's cool and all with Johnny now, but deep down, we know that he doesn't respect him or his teachings. Larusso is bougie as hell. The only reason why he even allowed him to teach at his dojo in the first place is because that is his domain. He knows that he can control him there. All of these rivalry disputes were supposed to be done in season 5, but apparently not. Let's take a look at what he's doing in season 6. First off, this dude changes the training schedule without telling nobody so that Chosen can teach the class before Johnny. Now, it's painfully obvious why he's doing this. It's because he still wants the Miyagi-Do style to dominate the students' way of fighting. Because he still thinks that the Miyagi way is superior and that Eagle Fang / Cobra Kai is only okay when he approves of it. But then, when Johnny Lawrence later does the same thing back at him, he has a problem with it. Because apparently changing the schedule is only okay when he doesn't. Yet he's allowed to purposely remove Johnny out of the equation so he can give them private Miyagi-Do lessons in the forest. Like, come on, bro. What are you even doing right now? And what's crazy is that that's not even the end of his hypocrisy. This dude was in the office with Johnny trying to figure out who's gonna be their top 6 fighters for the Sekai Tekai. They both agree on their top 4 fighters being Miguel, Robbie, Sam, and Hawk. But then they have some disagreements with the final 2. While Johnny picks Tori and Lee to be his final 2, this nigga Daniel picks Dimitri and Anthony. Are you stupid? First of all, nobody picking Kenny? That's kind of crazy. While Johnny's picks were indeed biased, at least he picked Tori, which is literally one of their best fighters. Daniel's picks I just can't get with at all. We already know why he's picking Anthony, because that's his son. But his reasoning for picking Dimitri is literally only because he's a pure Miyagi-Do. Because to him, the only right way is the Miyagi way. And if you're doing anything else, bad. That's why he's always hating when it's Johnny's turn to train. He always like to sit there and judge people. Every time somebody gets a little more rough to his liking, he always talking about, oh, your bad side is coming out again. How can you even say that about my boy Johnny when season 5 and season 6 is literally the best version of Johnny we've ever seen? Comparing season 1 Johnny to recent Johnny is like night and day. He is actually embracing the ways of the Miyagi-Do for the sake of his family. His character development is not to be questioned. I cannot say the same for you, Denny. The only difference with you is that you slightly tolerate Johnny a little more. Other than that, you're still the same. How can you practice the Miyagi-Do ways for 30 plus years and still get heated and still become a hothead? I'm starting to question if that shit even works. You be the main one that be preaching balance, but every season your ass is hanging off the tightrope. Which is one of the reasons why I don't get why you're so ashamed of the Johnny way. when that way has literally helped you in the past? Your own son wouldn't even be the son that you know today if you didn't instill some of that ego discipline. Yet he still is trying so hard to cling on to the idea that Miyagi is absolute. Sure, he might not say it directly anymore, but actions speak louder than words, and his behavior in season 6 proves that. Look how heartbroken Daniel gets in this season when he realizes that Miyagi was a villain. And look how triggered he gets when somebody implies that maybe Miyagi wasn't perfect. Now, we understand that he loves Miyagi. He's done a lot for him and changed his life and all of that. But he is still a grown ass man. Why do you have such a naive perspective on Miyagi? We already know that Miyagi kept secrets from Daniel. In season 3, Chosen literally had to show him the dark arts. He done spent his whole life glazing Miyagi that even the slightest thought of him being bad will just crumble his whole world. It's hella ironic that despite having the wisdom of being a Miyagi practitioner, Daniel seems to be more closed-minded compared to Johnny. And it's still hella ironic how he claims that Johnny's bad habits are coming back when I only see that from him. Which leads to the infamous final episode of season 6. The Sekai Tekai is around the corner, and they have to pick a male and female captain for their team. Robbie is chosen as the male captain, while Sam and Tori fight it out to see who's going to be the female one. But Daniel ends up stopping it when he realized what happened to Tori's mom. But doing this only led to her leaving the team because he was unaware of how much she needed to fight at that moment. And when Johnny tries to explain this to him, he wants to respond, "Oh, it's not the Miyagi way." Because he still for some reason holds that perspective that Miyagi solves everything. And when Johnny calls him out on his BS while also confronting him about the Miyagi secrets, what does he do? He strikes first. When I saw this scene right here, that's when I knew Daniel is the only one to blame. Sure, he may apologize and acknowledge some of his shortcomings, but if you look at what he does, he's controlling, he's a hypocrite, and he's narcissistic. It's a good thing that Johnny was the only adult in the room in that moment, because that was the perfect reason to disband the team right there. Daniel, I know you mean well, or at least you think you do, but in these next 10 episodes, I'ma really have to see you get it together because you're losing me right here. And as for the writers, I seen that announcement trailer y'all did with Mr. Han. And considering that we already gotta wait till next year to finish this season, if he's not in these next 10 episodes, I'ma come fuck you up.